Sie hören Sport und Musik.
It's John Brooks for the USA!
Das Spiel ist aus! Deutschland ist Weltmeister!
In a world where fans fight over whether to call it football, or soccer, two German men defy the odds and call it Fußball. Bringing you inside the German-American football experience. And now, here are your hosts, the Schnitzel Boys.
Hello. We're early for once. That never happens.
Never happens.
That never happens.
If you're tuning into us on demand in the podcast world, you're just on time.
Always.
But if you're tuning into us live, we're a little early today. That's on me. I should probably put us starting at 6:45 instead of 7 my time.
You got somewhere to be. It's all right.
Well, we're trying to keep it a little tighter in general, right?
I think shorter is better when it comes to podcasts for sure.
Leave them wanting more.
Exactly. That is not. I don't think that's something that we have traditionally excelled at.
No, we always leave them wanting less. I mean, we have released an hour and a half long podcasts. Although, in our defense, there are plenty of shows that release like 2 to 3 hour long podcasts. I don't know.
I don't listen to those either.
Hans Wolf always the first for something.
Early
like
with us.
Early too. Hell yeah, Hans Wolf.
It's nice.
So this is the USA Hour. Oh, there's so much to talk about. Do you want to do MLS first or U.S. Men's National Team first?
It's up to you.
Let's do U.S. Men's National Team first. We can
the
get
Gold
that
Cup.
out of the way.
Jamaica.
When that's done, just MLS.
Jimmy Sands got the start.
Jimmy Sands got the start and didn't look good.
I didn't actually see it.
Oh, come on. It's okay. If you saw the game, you would have seen John Tolkien crushing it and James Sands like floundering, like sinking.
Really?
It's
that's
like,
not how
this boy
I.
versus the man.
That's not how I.
You didn't see it?
Was that the general consensus?
Yes.
I keep hearing how James Sands was good. Okay, he wasn't.
No, James Sands was fine. It was not James Sands' fault. It's not no one's fault. So after a really exciting USA, Mexico, Canada.
This was on, by the way, I just want to say this was on at the same time as NYCFC's game in Portland. So that's my excuse.
Gotcha. No, it is. It is. MLS is not taking a break for the Gold Cup. They're plunging along. And, you're missing some players. The New York Red Bulls, John Tolkien's with the U.S. and Corey Burke's with Jamaica. So we're missing 2 of our key players. You're missing James Sands. Are you missing anybody else?
That's it. Maxime Chanot is back. He played for Luxembourg, but he came back. He played on Saturday.
Hans Wolf only saw the second half. Yeah, the game against Jamaica. I remember 2 years ago when we started, we limped against Haiti 1-0. It's our B team. And
Jamaica are pretty good. No, they had
Jamaica
They fielded a good lineup.
They fielded a great lineup: Leon Bailey, Michael Antonio, Andre Blake. I mean, the big talk on Twitter afterwards, and I don't even know why I bring this up, is everybody and their mother is like, "Our MLS guys suck. MLS sucks. No more MLS players and coaches, please. No more MLS players, please." And I'm like, and then there was even a quote being like, God, I always forget how bad our MLS players are. And I responded like, yeah, and I always forget how good the Jamaican MLS players are. You know what I mean? It's like Jamaica has 3 players that play in the USL. Okay, the MLS is not an excuse.
This is never ending. This is it doesn't have to make sense.
It can't make sense because, again, as we know, MLS, we get it. It's not the Premier League.
MLS, according to the prevailing narrative on Twitter, MLS has made every country better in the CONCACAF region except the US. It's actively holding back the US.
That and it would be better if it didn't exist, so all our players could just go straight to England from God knows where.
Could all play in the Premier League. Yeah.
They go from high school to Chelsea, I guess. God, there's no intermediary. There's no league with a development program. You know what I mean? Like any good nation, they go straight to the top. I'm being facetious, obviously.
Of course. I caught on to that right away, Stefan.
Yeah, they need to be here to send them there, catch them back, be at the level. Anyway, I don't want to talk about the usefulness of MLS. We all get it. We're here. We're fans. So they played a game, and if it wasn't for Brandon Vasquez's late strike, it would have been a 1-0 loss at home in Chicago to Jamaica. And that is a disappointing result. Granted, it's not the end of the world. Our next game is the mighty St. Kitts and Nevis.
2 countries in one game. That seems unfair.
Yeah, that's right. No, better yet, after that we have Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, five countries in 3 games. This is an uphill battle.
It's an uphill battle. We have to, our little baby USA, just trying to make it.
Gotta play Trinidad and Tobago.
Mighty Trinidad and Tobago, 2 for the price of 1. Now, granted, Trinidad has had our number many times before, so that will actually be an interesting game to me, because the United States will probably need to win that game to win the group, and there's a good chance that they might not. So, the conspiracy theorists on Twitter think Greg Berhalter, after his appointment, snuck into BJ Callahan's ear and whispered 3 to 4 different lineup changes that were a little confusing and led to the more defensive play. And the conspiracy theorists are already blaming Greg. And he's not even head coach yet. He's just hanging out in the stadium doing.
Did Greg have time to watch the game? Because he's so busy.
He was there.
He's meeting with Matt Crocker constantly.
He was at the stadium, but from what I understand, he was probably at a meeting with Matt Crocker over in the conference room the entire game.
This is
because he doesn't have any time.
This is so odd that he's watching this in the stands.
He's just sitting there like this. So, I mean, the reality is maybe there is some truth to that. Maybe he did recommend a lineup. I don't know. But all I know is that if you listen to the Twitter nuts.
Have we heard, do we know, is BJ Callahan going to stay on do we know if that's happening or not? If is he going to be part of the staff or?
We do not. I hope he stays. It's so funny because he was part of Greg's staff, and he's there, he's doing his thing. And then when he was asked about the Greg Berhalter signing against Mexico in the Mexico game, all he said was, "I have no comment." That's all he said. He didn't say, if I am an assistant, I would be like, yeah, I worked with him for 2 years. I love Greg. I welcome him. I'm glad he's back. You know what I mean? He didn't say that.
Well, this was probably. Well, I mean, I'm assuming this was because this leaked, right? They didn't.
Right. He was not prepared. No,
so he was like, right. So he probably didn't want to confirm that was the case. If this wasn't officially announced, I think that's probably what that was. I don't know. I wouldn't read into that too much, maybe. But
anyway, I hope BJ stays on, and I'm curious who the other assistants are going to be, because it's not going to be Anthony Hudson. It's not going to be Josh Wolf. Those guys are taken. So we'll see.
Jason Kreis going to be
maybe that's his role in life, a good assistant coach. But anywho,
okay. I hope he is a good assistant coach.
Once upon a time, Jason Kreis was my favorite American coach. When he got the New York City FC job, I thought it was a great move. If he was going to crush it,
I had no idea who he was. Got to be honest there, but it seemed like he had the credentials. But if you watch, well, anyway, I think I've said that before. There is that documentary about the inaugural season of NYCFC, and if you see that, you can see how this did not go well.
Yeah. Well, so knowing that, I don't know. Would you rather a different assistant coach then, or you just don't like him at all?
He has not had a lot of success lately. I mean, he missed the Olympics with the youth team, the team that he was coaching. He was terrible in Orlando. They stuck with him a long time for really no apparent reason. He was Neville's assistant in Miami. He was Neville. Yeah, he was. I mean, who overall, I would say, who cares who somebody's assistant is? Like, I don't. I mean,
who the hell is BJ Callahan?
I'm not like no one should ever hire Jason Kreis for anything other than a Burger King manager position ever again. That's not what I mean. I guess I'm just surprised. I guess he has a lot of old friends and it's part of that whole club. But it's like, he keeps getting hired for things.
Kreis für Deutschland. Should we start that on Twitter? Kreis für Deutschland?
No. I said I would accept Berhalter as the German men's national team.
But not Kreis.
Not Kreis, no.
Okay.
I think there's definitely, I definitely would say there's a difference there.
So, there's not much more to say. USA limped 1-1. Home Jamaica wanted to do better. They got a tie. Whatever. It doesn't mean they're still not going to win the whole tournament. So I wish them the best moving forward. Hopefully they play. The lineup was a little odd. The other criticism is Miazga and Aaron Long. Does Aaron Long deserve to be here? I see what they're saying. Does Christian Roldan deserve to be here? What does he give to the team? That's also a little confusing. And then the typical Jordan Morris hate, which I don't understand because Jordan Morris has been in good form again. And I don't know if Jordan Morris is at his best, he performs. So I don't get Jordan Morris.
When are they playing again? Tomorrow?
They're playing St. Kitts and Nevis, I think, tomorrow or
St. Kitts
something.
and Nevis.
No, two teams. Who's better, do you think? The St. Kitts or the Nevis?
Well, St. Kitts Twitter always says that the Nevis Kitts are terrible.
Yeah, but the Nevis Twitter says that about the St. Kitts.
St. Kitts. Oh, I forgot about how terrible the St. Kitts Kitts are.
No joke though. I've never even been to the Caribbean. Like St. Kitts and Nevis.
I've been to.
The fact that they're here.
I went to St. Lucia for my honeymoon. That's about it.
So if you look at a place like St. Lucia,
which was beautiful,
I'm sure it was beautiful. But if you look at a place like that, imagine they field a full national team, right? With like a league and stuff. I mean, how big is St. Lucia? It's just one city on an island, right? It's
pretty small, yeah. I don't know. I mean, they don't play. I don't think they're not in the Gold Cup. Do they play?
They were in the.
Are they even?
I'm sure.
They were. Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, but like St. Kitts and Nevis is how much bigger is St. Kitts and Nevis to St. Lucia? I genuinely don't know.
Gotta be. I don't either, but gotta be bigger.
Yeah, but still, like fielding a full national team. I mean, that's what we're dealing with here. I am an idiot. I'm not good at Googling. I don't know how to watch. Is there a date? Kickoff 10 p.m. Eastern Wednesday. So 2 days from now.
Okay.
Or is that Jamaica? No, hold on. June 28th, 9:30 p.m. June 28th is Wednesday. You're right. Wednesday in St. Louis. All right. Good for them. But anyway, you know who is maybe an assistant coach who was photographed in Wales last week getting his coach's badges? Michael Bradley is in Europe right now getting his Europe A-level license.
He's looking for a new job also. His dad got fired.
Well, is he in? Is Michael Bradley injured? He's currently in Wales getting coaching testing done. Doesn't he play for Toronto FC?
I thought so.
That's what I thought too.
Well, now that his dad got fired, he doesn't care anymore.
Well, that photo came from before his dad was fired. Maybe his dad giving him a release was greatly
the straw that broke the camel's back.
So the big news this weekend was Bob Bradley was fired. You were right, Bjorn. I was wrong. I said believe in Bruce and Bob. Bruce doing well. Bob not doing well.
No.
Bob had a rough season. But the big question is it Bob's fault or is the case of Bruce Bob was easier to fire than Bernardeschi? What do you think? I mean,
I've said this before, and I don't even know exactly why, but it is the old the happiness at the misfortune of others, and Toronto's plight this season just gives me such pleasure. I mean, it's like, whose fault is it? It's everybody's fault.
Toronto FC are the PSG of MLS, maybe?
It's a poorly put together squad. Like, just basically, the owner going on Transfermarkt and being like, oh, wouldn't it be great if we had an Italian on our team? And
he did the fatal mistake of hiring two Italians.
And I think it's like there's a top down sort of stupidity to the whole thing. And yeah, I don't know how Bob fits in there, what he did wrong. I mean, maybe his races run, he did well for LAFC, but LAFC, everybody's done well at LAFC. So Yeah, I don't know. I can't even. I don't have a lot of smart things to say about it, except that I think it's just funny to me, like how they kind of threw this thing together, and it's not working. It ain't working.
I thought Bob was going to go in there and fix it because it was a disaster what's going on over there. I thought Bob was a good hire to go there and fix the whole thing and right the ship. And this was his first season, right? Or was he there last season?
No, second.
The second season. It didn't work. Bob, the dumpster fire mess of, excuse me, the Bernardeschi vaping in the locker room and crap.
Yeah, and I mean, it was clearly
he couldn't solve that. He couldn't solve that.
It was clearly a defensive. They had defensive problems last year. I mean, I think Michael Bradley, a defensive midfielder, was no longer working, and. Yeah. But then, they got Sean Johnson, they got a new goalkeeper, they got some reinforcements, but it's just not a functioning group.
Bob couldn't fix it. Bob the Builder, Mr. Bob the Fix It or whatever. Is Bob the Builder? He's a children's character. Bob the Builder couldn't fix it. Toronto FC gets rid of a coach, and I'm curious if a new coach will do anything. We'll see. I mean,
No, we don't know who. Maybe it's going to be Michael.
No idea.
Maybe Michael is going to get his license and come back and take over.
I'd like to see that. People say Michael is going to be a great coach, and maybe he will. Maybe that's his gift to U.S. soccer, is coming in and being just an excellent coach. Let's hope. I know it's what he wants. Bruce Arena in his book specifically said that's what's going to happen. He said Michael Bradley will be a great coach. Huntsville, Bob Bradley's quality when he performs like Scheisse, even then. That's true. Gesundheit. I have said before that if the New York Red Bulls hired Bob Bradley, I'd be a happy boy. But we don't need Bob Bradley. Now I'm going to offer this to you, Bjorn, and Hans, and whoever else is listening.
Bob Bradley for Germany?
No, Bob Bradley for NYCFC.
That's not going to happen.
Well, what do you over the Maple David Riccio? Maybe Bob over the Maple Leafs. Yeah, maybe he's like a brilliant ass hockey coach.
It's like I know just the thing. I'm gonna play coach hockey now.
I mean, it's like soccer on ice, right? I mean, it's kind of maybe a little faster.
Oh yeah, there's no real difference.
As long as he brings Bernardeschi.
Is he gonna be? He's gonna have to wear a hat though. He's gonna be cold with his unprotected head.
Glutzkopf. So the greatest U.S. coach of all time, in my opinion, is Bruce Arena. But Bruce Arena was not always a soccer coach, Bjorn. Do you know what his background is?
Lacrosse.
That's right, baby. Bruce Arena was the 1976 Lacrosse World Cup, playing for the United States. I think he was the team captain. And then he got a coaching job at a college that needed a lacrosse and soccer coach. He's like, yeah, I'll do both. And the rest, as they say, is history. That soccer showed up. Because he couldn't get lacrosse gigs. And getting soccer gigs was easier, I guess. Anywho, Bruce, lacrosse, what was it? Michael Bradley, head coach. It won't happen. Let's pretend it didn't happen. Let's pretend David Cushing goes back to England. He gets the job. What did I say? Sorry. Nick Cushing. Sorry. Nick Cushing. Who we don't know is related to Peter Cushing or not. We still don't know. Nick Cushing gets the sack because of the string of results. NYCFC has not been amazing. Freeze, what's his name? I get the first names wrong. Who's Freeze? Mr. Freeze?
Matt Freeze.
Not Luke Freeze. Got a record 6 saves, I believe, during their last game over the week. Yeah.
Are we talking about my team?
Well, how do you feel if Bob Bradley were your coach next week?
I wouldn't love it. That's not going to happen. But I'm not a big fan of Bob Bradley. I think, he has that quality of taking himself quite seriously, which is not something that I enjoy in general in people. And so no, I don't think I would enjoy him as our coach. I don't think he's a CFG kind of guy. I don't think there's any chance of this. But no, that would not be my first choice.
All right. Well, yeah. Let's let's talk. And let's talk a little bit about CFC. How you feel about stuff? It's been
we've had
2 match days this week, right? You had a
Wednesday
game,
and we have not. We have not won since late April. That hasn't changed. But now at this point, we also haven't lost in a while because we've had five ties, 5 draws in a row. And in 2023, as I have decided and declared, ties are like wins. So we had two wins in a row. Now, these were 2 very different kind of ties. The one on Wednesday, we were playing what can only be described as a very janky Atlanta United lineup. They had everybody and their brother on international duty, and they lined up some people that I really had no idea who they were. Now, this was on the road, and but we took a lead into stoppage time and then gave up a very, very soft goal at the first goal we gave up also was pretty soft. Kind of Luis Barraza, goalie Barraza got nutmegged on the first goal, so we gave up a couple. I thought we were going to win this game, and then we gave up the stoppage time equalizer. That tie did not feel like a win. That tie felt like a loss. But then
Gabby Pereira scored in the first minute of that game.
Very quick. It was a very quick score, but then we also gave it back pretty quickly after. And then Gabby Pereira scored again to give us the lead. Brad Guzan didn't look 100% great on that goal. And then I thought, but, we just don't have a bus to park, unfortunately. We tried our best to park the bus, but we don't have it to park. So then we gave up the late goal, and that was disappointing.
The bus is a neutral, but the Wednesday night is the night of 2-2s. I was at the LA Galaxy Sporting Kansas City game. I saw it live. Had a lovely time. I love going. Also 2-2. The Galaxy looked like they were going to win that game. I think they gave up a very soft penalty in stoppage time. And Sporting Kansas City tied it up. And Alan Pulido scored 2 goals to make it 2-2. And then my New York Red Bulls, who I watched ahead of time. Now here's a little side thing. Yeah. I planned to go to a bar before the Galaxy game to watch the game. And there were some bars, like there are official LA Galaxy bars in South LA that have Apple TV as part of the officialness, but they're all very far away. The only thing nearby, which I've gone to several times, is a janky old Buffalo Wild Wings with a broken air conditioner. That's always full of LA Galaxy fans before Galaxy games. I love it. I love going there. I get my sweet teriyaki cauliflower wings and some fries. And speaking of food, there was a local mom and pop barbecue spot in that area that serves food at Galaxy games, and I fell in love with them so much that I went there early just to go to the location and buy their barbecue sauce, which is in a glass jar with a custom-made photo of the owner who's like, "This is my local barbecue sauce." It's called My Father's Barbecue. If you're ever at a Galaxy game or in the South LA area, I highly recommend it. Very cool spot. But anywho, I was sitting there at Buffalo Wild Wings realizing, unless the game's on Fox Sports, they can't air it.
This is not going to happen.
No. So I'm sure MLS has tried this, but it would be nice if MLS and Apple TV could form a partnership with like a national chain of some sort, even like an Applebee's or something, just to guarantee that there's a bar you can go to that will have the Apple TV on the TVs. Because right now, bars can't show MLS games, right? Unless they have a special package, and they're not going to to do that. Soccer
bars, soccer bars have it.
But if you're outside of New York and LA, those are few and far between. I mean, they exist, I guess, but you understand what I'm saying? It'd be nice if I'm an MLS marketing guy, I would find a national chain to try to figure that out, offer them for free or something. But anyway, that's a sidestep thing. Now I'm just going to do what I do, which is watch it on my phone while I sit at the table at the bar. But the New York Red Bulls on Wednesday.
You could probably screencast it using your Apple device onto one of their TVs if you were really in with the local with the bartender.
That's true, but they would have to play the code and crap. I don't know. Interesting. But to let you know, I'm not in with the bartender at the Buffalo Wild Wings. There barely was a bartender at the Buffalo.
But I mean, I think a lot of, also in fairness, whether it's MLS on Apple or wherever, it's like a lot of sports bars, if you ask them to put on the soccer, it's akin to asking the owner to sleep with his
your daughter.
Yeah, right. It's like, it's not always well received. And this is not about Apple or where the games.
That's why they should come up with a partnership. So it's like, I understand the difference between a soccer bar and a sports bar is totally different. I get it.
Yeah.
Trust me, I get it. But that's why they should come up with Buffalo Wild Wings or one of their sponsors. They need to come up with a sponsor partnership. MLS guys, get it done. That's all I'm going to say. But anyway,
make the call. Make the call.
Make the call.
Make the call.
We'll do it live. I'll do it live. Anyway,
David Riccio is saying Bruce always looks annoyed. Love him. Yeah, I would take Bruce Arena over Bob Bradley for sure.
Hans Wolf said he introduced his son to Arena back when Wayne Rooney debuted as a player. Was Bruce in town with his club or something? Because he wasn't the DC United coach then. He was probably, I guess New England was in town, I guess, right? New England Revolution must have been.
I would
in town.
Having dinner. I think having dinner with Bruce Arena would be highly entertaining. I think having dinner with Bob Bradley would be super awkward.
Well,
that's just my imagination of it.
Do you want to hear a little American history story? So, Bruce Arena, Dave Sarachan, and Bob Bradley would always rent a summer house in Emerald Isle, North Carolina, or in the Outer Banks somewhere on the coast of North Carolina, and go every summer with little Michael Bradley. And Bob Bradley and Bruce Arena, Dave Sarachan would talk soccer tactics all day out on the porch.
North Carolina FC legend Dave Sarachan.
Dave Sarachan, baby. That's why it was. Bruce was there. It was a huge night for DC United. Oh, I guess he was just there. Oh, that's nice. He's just there as a DC United legend, as Bruce is arguably the greatest DC United coach of all time.
He's a legend in many places.
Many places. I would love. Anyway, first off, you heard it here, folks. You heard it here first, folks. The first 20 callers get entrance to a free dinner with Bruce Arena, courtesy of the Schnitzel Boys. Just write in dinner with Bruce.
We're gonna make the call. Make the call.
A lucky listener will get a dinner for two with Bruce Arena, the Buffalo Wild Wings of your choice. Buffalo Wild Wings presents Dinner with Bruce as part of their Apple TV launch. We're joking. Oh God, I wish we weren't though. We are joking though. Anyway. So, New York Red Bulls time. So, we had a couple games off. We had a little bit of a break.
What? We already talked about one. And okay, well, it's fine. We are fluid. This is a fluid situation.
Sorry, let's talk Wednesday and then Saturday.
Okay, sounds
Wednesday
good.
So this is Wednesday. Like I said, Wednesday's 2-2 night. NYCFC 2-2. LA Galaxy 2-2. New York Red Bulls 2-2, baby. But all three of these.
But your tie felt like a win as well, no?
Oh, yeah. It felt like a big win. And let me explain. So the New York Red Bulls actually had a couple games off. They had like a bye. They had like 2 buys or something. There was a reason why they had a little bit of time off, which was good because it meant Troy and his players could reset and work on some tactics. And because Troy stepped right into the team without a break. And anyway, they came out.
I love that you and Troy are on a first name basis like that. That's nice. You were never that intimate with Struber?
No, because his name. Why would I ever call Struber Gerhard?
You did not talk. You didn't refer to him as Gerhard. No.
No, I know, but Struber's gone because Struber and me never had it. Troy and me though were like this. Dude.
You're tight.
We're tight. Troy, and he just hired a new assistant coach from New Mexico. Our coaching staff just poached all of New Mexico's coaching staff, and they have no titles. It's like, we're like, okay, they know each other, I guess. The fans seem to like them, so we'll take it. That's fine. That's fine, I guess. No titles needed. Anywho, Troy Lesane, Mr. Lesane, Professor Lesane.
No, you can call him Troy. Don't feel bad. I'm just noticing it.
Anyway, my boy Troy. He put his team out, and it didn't work. Van Zero was on the bench, and they scored 2 against us, and it was not working. And I was a little disappointed. I was like, "Oh God, is this what we got? Is this the end of it, Bjorn? Is that it? Is that the end of it all? Is this the best we can do? Are the playoffs done? Is the world burning?" And blah blah. I'm like, Troy Lesane, this halftime is very important. Can Troy Lesane rev up this engine? Bring these boys back and bring some belief in this team.
And boy, did he ever.
And boy, did he ever, because the boys came out swinging. Dante Van Zier came on the field, scored a great goal. And then the entire second half, you didn't watch this game, I'm assuming, right? The entire second half was like 100% Red Bulls. Like, it was so dominant. Was it Charlotte? Yeah, Charlotte just didn't touch the ball. It was all Red Bulls all day. They missed. I think the XG was like through the roof. It was like high. They had like 6 or 7 opportunities. And the whole time I was like, this team's going to win this game. This team is going to win 3-2. They're going to win this game. And they scored one. They scored a second. And they were so close to scoring a third. It ended up being a 2-2 draw. But just like you said, it doesn't matter. It felt like a win because that is all I needed to see. That 45 minutes, that slight tweak proved a couple things. 1, Troy Lesesne is in charge of the team. 2, the boys believe in him. 3, the boys still believe in the season. That half is like, oh, we're going to the playoffs again this year. That's that asked and answered. I didn't know it up until that point. But that second half is like, this team is going to the playoffs.
It's going to the playoffs. All right. 1.4 to 0.7 was the XG. So
0. Twice, right? Twice or whatever.
Yeah, but
right?
it ended 2-2. So it's not like, it wasn't through the roof, but whatever. Listen, I'm not going to rain on your parade. You think this team has got it. All right.
Right. And it's not the players. We're missing 8 guys, half due to injury, half due to suspension in national teams. I'm very curious about the quality of our physio staff at this point. Because Dante Van Zier pulled his hamstring in this game. He's out again for a couple of weeks. We have a lot of injuries, and we don't have a lot of depth. So it ain't our boys, but like, it doesn't matter because the way we play, they believe in it. Anyway, so that's Wednesday. Cut to Saturday. We're playing Big Bad Atlanta.
And it has to be said, your Atlanta team had everybody back, right? From international duty. When we played, I understand, yeah. We played a very decimated lineup, but you play, I think, right?
We were without John Tolkien. And we were without.
How could you possibly survive without John Tolkien?
You are not following the John Tolkien train, my friend. He is the next New York Red Bull superstar. Okay, Caden Clark. Who
was the previous one?
Tyler Adams.
Okay.
Deflated. I don't know. We create players. I'll tell you. Anywho. So New York Red Bulls play Atlanta United, and we destroy them 4-0. 4-0. And it's like, hell yeah, dude. The Red Bulls are on. They haven't, as Red Bull fans, we needed that game. The New York Red Bulls haven't had a dominant game like that in like a year, maybe even 2 years, since Struber's been coach. And it's nice to see them play. And not only did we win the Red Bulls' way. 2 of the goals came from high pressure overturns or turnovers. And another goal came from a great, very quick counterattack. Our players are ready to go, quick in transition. Like, tactically, our players are clicked right back into the Red Bull philosophy and how we play. So injure another 11 of our players. I dare you. We're good to go. So I'm just saying the Red Bulls are back, and we're heading to the playoffs this year. So we're breaking the record. That's all I'm going to say. Now, Bjorn, how did NYCFC do over the weekend?
We tied again. Right? Tied again. This one felt better. Portland, side of our MLS Cup triumph, which was, brought back good memories. And Portland took the early lead. I almost went to bed because it was, the late game, near 10:30 kickoff in the East Coast. I contemplated giving up on it, but then I stuck with it. And Keaton Parks had a really, really good game. Not just because he scored the goal. There was somebody he was great. He really was just passing. Just had a great game overall, but also got a set piece goal from a corner. And then we saw it out. Portland was I don't know. Was it because of the MLS Cup final revenge or whatever? Portland was really trying. They seemed really like they wanted to win this game, and they did not. So that was fun. That was a fun game. And yeah, Matty Freese got the start. who had this was his second start. He had played against Cincinnati, I believe, and had not looked so good, in my opinion. And I don't know if this was just, I mean, Nick Cushing, God bless him, has really tried to create competition at spots and giving people chances, even though we are pretty thin. And so I think he's doing that at goalkeeper as well. Like he's giving Matty Freese a shot.
Was Barraza on duty, or was Barraza?
I think he was just
being rested.
He was just getting a shot. I don't know if it was before. I mean, he kept saying how it's a tight competition. They're both working hard in training, and he said he's going to give. It's Lewis. Lewis is the starter, but it's a close and he's gonna give Matt Freese opportunities. I don't know. And this also happened. The Atlanta game was like the first time where Barraza this season really conceded a goal where you were like, oh, he should have probably had that. He hasn't done anything wrong, or hasn't done a lot wrong this season so far. I don't know. I was kind of ambiguous about it because I was like, especially when you have a new goalie, you got to just also give him confidence and be like, you're the guy. And so I don't know. We'll see how this turns out, but it turned out well on Saturday because Matt Freese had a great game, and had 6 saves and really saved. I mean, it was great to have Chanot back as well. That helped stabilize the defense. He had a great game. Keaton Parks had a great game, and Matt Freese also was good. And other than that, we're still struggling offensively. The transfer window's open. I'm hoping there's this kid on Twitter calling himself NYCFC source who keeps telling us all the great things that are happening on the transfer market.
I saw you challenge him on Twitter.
I said that he had correctly predicted 17 of our last 3 signings. Like every week he's going, we're interested in another guy, and it's like, nothing has materialized. So I'll believe it when I see it, but I'm hoping people are coming. We need help. We need a couple of we need a striker and a center back minimum. And
the talk on Twitter is who needs more of a number 9, Nashville or NYCFC, and I think you're the two clubs. Definitely,
we do. If they have Hani Mukta, we have Gabe Siegel.
Right. Well, Gabe Siegel. Oh, I think of Gabi Pereira. Gabi Pereira's been performing.
Gabi Pereira. I mean, he has been very good. Yeah, for sure. What?
Just go back to the chat. Hans Wolf, YouTube just shadow banned my last comment.
Oh, his about the false 9, about the false 9.
I don't know what that is. David Richo, that would be a very intense dinner with Bob. I love it. You know that movie, My Dinner with Andre?
Yeah, it would not be like that at all.
My Dinner with Bob.
My Dinner with Bob.
Hey, Bob, do you like Buffalo Wild Wings? Yeah, good green beans.
That's where you would go. Okay, that's where you would go. You're going to dinner with Bob Bradley, and you're picking Buffalo Wild Wings.
That's part of the deal because they have to announce their new Apple partnership with MLS, and the in my mind, in my little fake world,
this is how you even get to have dinner.
Yeah, this is a Shitsel Boys contest. Apple TV.
Apple says we heard it. We heard your idea. We love it. We're going to do it. And
Bob's available. So
you're going to join in. We want to have you both come to us for this event. But okay, all right.
Yeah,
so you're at Buffalo.
I like a good beer when I'm not working. I'll drink a half brow. Bob tends to talk like this. He thinks a second, and then he's like, and then probably have some wings, and then maybe some ranch. Without ranch, wings don't taste as good, and that's my Bob Brad.
You sound way more jovial than I would imagine him to be. I would imagine there to be awkward silence, long awkward silences. Everything I would say, I would expect to be challenged by Bob Bradley. Why would you say
Bob.
this?
I'll be you. You be Bob. Then. Wow, it's cool.
I don't know that I could. No, I was not. I was thinking. I don't think I could do a better impression. But I just okay.
Then I'll be Bob, and then you be you. You just won the thing. Where would you eat in New York if you had to take Bob Bradley out to dinner 1-on-1 in New York City? Where would you take him?
I mean, I'd ask him what he likes. I don't know.
No. You have to choose.
If I have to choose, I'll take him to Brooklyn Crab in Red Hook.
Okay.
That's a lively place. We'd sit outside. It wouldn't be too awkward.
This is nice. This is a nice crab place. Smells fresh.
Smells fresh?
I've never been. I don't know. I'm assuming it's in Red Hook. Is it on the sea? Is it on the wharf?
It's across the street from where the fairway used to be. No, it's close to the water, but it's not right on the water.
Okay.
They have a large outdoor area. The food is good, and it's a very lively place. I guess if I'm worried about having,
you don't want to hear him super well.
I don't want to. Yeah, I want there to be a little bit of ambient noise around me, so that it's not quite so awkward.
In the comments, tell me where you would take Bob Bradley out to dinner. Rex, anywhere. It doesn't have to be New York, wherever. I want Buffalo Wild Wings. Bjorn's taking a nice crab spot down in Red Hook. Very cool.
Peter Luger. He's probably a Peter Luger kind of guy.
Yeah, I think Peter.
Lorelei Beer Garden. That's a good call.
I was going to say,
the food is not is okay. It's okay. It's okay. I guess. Yeah, that's a good idea.
You just need to be drinking. That's what you need to be doing. Okay, so
what's good about that choice, the Lorelei choice, it would give us sort of a little bit of home field advantage and things to talk about, like about the Germanness of it all.
Yeah, he's like, oh, my son used to play at Borussia Mönchengladbach. Oh, did you hear the Jermaine Jones story? Was so interesting. Jermaine Jones on the Alexi Lawless podcast talked about choosing the United States. And he played for Schalke, and then Gladbach is not too far. It's like down the street. And Michael Bradley was playing Gladbach. And I think Jermaine Jones texted Michael Bradley about being like, hey, man, could you tell your dad? Can you put in a good word to your dad? Because his dad was head coach at the time, the national team. Can you let him know that I'm interested in switching? Like, can you put a word in? And then Michael Bradley, it's like, oh, my dad's visiting me next week. Let's all get dinner. And then Bob Bradley came into Gladbach to watch his son play, and they all got dinner, and then that's how Jermaine Jones became a U.S. national team.
The rest is history.
Yeah, now he's a youth coach or whatever. I love Jermaine Jones.
Yeah, no, he's great.
Jermaine Jones, the Gladiator. His 2014 World Cup performance, one of the best performances in a U.S. shirt.
Very, very solid.
Yeah, very solid. Very solid. We got David Riccio, Corner Bistro in the Village. I'd focus on the burger and not Bob.
Extremely good call. Yeah, the Corner Bistro is great.
Have I been there? Is that right off the West 4th Street
I was
stop,
just there.
I
was just there with a friend of mine a few weeks ago. The burger is still epic. It's an epic burger. It's true. Like if you're at the Corner Bistro, even if Bob Bradley, you have the burger to focus on. That's a very, very good call.
Poor Bob. He's getting all this hate from everybody tonight. I, for one, would love to know with Bob. I'd ask him about Egypt, about the Port Said disaster. I'd ask him about Norway, coaching a Norwegian club with like 6,000-seater stadiums and arguing Norwegian. Being the first American in Europe, man, Bob Bradley's a warrior, and I'm here for it. Bob Bradley's from New Jersey, Jersey Pride, New Jersey, New York Red Bulls. New York Metropolitan State. Okay, the last bit of MLS news I want to talk to you about, Bjorn.
Yes.
Is if the rumors about Tata Martino are true,
yes,
and we know the Leo Messi and Sergio Busquets stuff is a science.
Busquets, we gotta talk about Busquets. I'm excited to see Busquets.
Well, the question
almost
is
more so than Messi in a way.
Well, that sort of leads to my question. In MLS during the summertime, we've had reinforcements before. It's happened many times, some larger than others. But is this summer reinforcement package of Tata Martino, Sergio Busquets, and Lionel Messi the greatest reinforcement package in MLS history?
Gotta be. I mean, you have a better you have been a more consistent fan of the league for longer than I have. So I don't even, who's second place? I can't even.
That's a better question. My mind, when Chivas USA launched, they were a disaster. And then during the summertime, they needed reinforcements. They even had an article of like reinforcos, and they signed Ramon Ramirez, unless he was there already. I think he was there already. But they signed Paco Palencia. And I don't know if you know who Paco Palencia is, but at the time he was like one of Mexico's biggest stars. He was in a Chevy commercial. He played for Chivas de Guadalajara. He was like a big Mexican player. He came over the summer.
This is Messi and Busquets we're talking.
I know. That's the only. It's like, I mean, Wayne Rooney came mid-season, right? So I guess he was reinforcement, right? I guess. But like, yeah, I think it's without question. It's not even close. This is the best reinforcement package.
Has to be. I mean, you never. I was surprised. I don't know. I haven't read anything about the numbers. I was surprised that this Busquets thing got over the line so quickly, because I was wondering about that. Like, how are they going to pay him? And and people say it's not about money, but then confronted with actual MLS salary, it's like, yeah, it's not about money, but like to a point, right? It's got to still pay the staff. And
no, it is about money. On Facebook, Transfer Market, one of those guys is like, Inter Miami could look like this in August, and it had Leo Messi at 50 million, Busquets at 5 million. And then I think that one even had Jordi Alba like 5 million, and then all these other players like Joseph Martinez.
But how are they going to pay them? How are they going to pay?
They're also all 2 or 3 million. And I wrote back and be like, "This is illegal. Like, this is not legal. Like, MLS can't pay these salaries. They can only pay 3 players DP salaries. Then they can pay. Then they have a TAM player or 2, and they can pay down a couple players. But that means only 5 or 6 players can make more than $1 million each." Right?
I guess,
am I wrong?
That's my understanding. But on the other hand, maybe, we're also, in the past, there have been instances where those kinds of rules can get bent a little bit. And
yeah, Inter Miami did it, and they got in trouble for it.
Inter Miami got in trouble for it, and now
a year ago, I asked.
Yeah, so it seems like they would have to be on the up and up, but I don't know. But now it's also but I mean, there's also, Messi has the DP spot. He gets money from Adidas and Apple and Inter Miami. So maybe, I don't know, maybe he's
cutting his friends in.
He's arranged some. I think there has been talk in the past of that being a thing, right? Where there's sort of additional under the table thing where teams are like, oh, we're going to give your wife a job, or
yeah, that's been happening since day one.
There's creative ways to do it that kind of skirt the rules but not break them, maybe.
Do you know? But I mean,
but supposedly, like you're saying, Busquets is just the beginning, right? There's talk of Jordi Alba, there's talk of Luis Suarez, and at some point, there's got to be a limit to what's possible. But I think just Busquets, just as a player, is just so interesting, and I think it's going to be. I think it's just going to be. I think this made me, up to this point, I was like, okay, whatever. Messi's coming. He's going to be good, but he's going to be also a man on an island in a way. And the Miami team is so poor. This now has my attention. Like Busquets will hold that team together. If he is going to be anywhere near as good as I think he's going to be, I think he's going to hold that team together in a way that's going to be interesting to watch.
Are they making the playoffs this year? That's the question.
No.
You don't think so?
No, it's too little, too late, right? It's like, I mean, there's not enough games left.
They'll have realistically they'll have like 10, 11, maybe 12 games to turn it around. Maybe because if the rumors are true about him debuting on July 21st, which I think
they're dead last. They're dead last right now. They're behind Toronto and us even. We haven't won since April. And I don't think so. I'm gonna say no. This is not gonna be. It's not gonna be a slam dunk. He's not gonna play every game. Messi is not. This is not gonna just come together in a flash. They're gonna have some good games and they're gonna have some bad games, and they're not. Everybody's gonna be gunning for them, obviously, and they're not a good team to begin with. And who knows who else they sign? And Busquets definitely is gonna make a difference, but it's not gonna be. They're gonna be good next year. They're not gonna be particularly good this year.
All right, that's a sobering opinion. I almost have that same opinion. But in the past, I've invoked his name before. I'll invoke it again. we have had player signings where like one guy shows up and then the team just turns it around. It doesn't happen much, but in the past, there's been a player named Jermaine Jones. He went to New England Revolution. And it was not to a lot of fanfare, by the way. And then the New England Revolution just all of a sudden became like one of the best teams in the league.
But it's not all of a sudden. Like it's over the course of a season. You know, it's like he
happened pretty fast. And then we went to Colorado. It happened again in Colorado. He's just like he's one player.
And I mean, he's also sort of a glue. He's a glue guy. Like I don't think.
But Busquets isn't Busquets Jermaine Jones, but of a higher quality.
Busquets is a defensive midfielder. Is a much.
So was Jermaine Jones. He was a ball winner.
But he's an 8 or he's an 8. Busquets is a 6.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I think there's just not. They're not going to have that many games left. It's not going to just come together so quickly. I don't think they're making the playoffs. I
think that's a very sober opinion. I think it's a very stout opinion. But I don't know. Tata, well, I don't know. We'll see. It could be as simple as them announce and be like, we're just finishing the season. Next year, we're coming back strong.
And I think they are going to be good next year for sure. They're going to eventually they're going to get it together, but I don't think it's not going to happen in an instant because it's like it's like a new team. It's basically and it's not like they're building on anything. I mean, I think compared to Inter Miami, I think even NYCFC is a more functioning group right now.
Right.
I think we could. I mean, and we also have.
Inter Miami doesn't have a coach right now. They're coachless.
Yeah, and we have 6 more points than they do. You know, they're like 11. They're 11 points out. They don't have a lot of. Like how many games have they played? They've played 18. So by the time he shows up, they're going to be, he's going to have like 12 games left. So they're going to need if they win 2 out of 3 of the 12, let's say they get 20, that's 24 points. So they'll get to like 40, 45 points. That's not going to make the playoffs. Even if they win and I think that's optimistic. Winning 2 out of 3 for them, that would be hugely successful. So I don't think I think it's not going to be enough season left.
Leo Messi is supposed to debut in less than 1 month, July 21st, at the Leagues Cup. Are you excited to stop MLS, stop that crap, and start this random tournament with a bunch of Mexican teams?
I actually am excited about it. First of all,
more than me.
I mean, my team needs a clean slate desperately. So
what if Inter Miami wins the whole thing flawlessly, and then that ends? They go right back to just stinking up in MLS. They just all they do is win the Leagues Cup.
Who knows? The Leagues Cup is going to be a crapshoot. I have enjoyed. We've talked about this before. I have enjoyed these MLS Mexico games. I think fans show up. There's a different level of tension.
There'll be a lot of fun.
I mean, NYCFC. We've played Tigres in the Champions League. We've played Atlas in the Campeones Cup. Whatever. That's no. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's also it's going to take a couple of years to really catch on. But I think I don't know. Do we have to interrupt the season? Whatever. I mean, the MLS schedule's never going to be perfect, but
moving forward,
I am looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it, and we're playing Toronto. I hope I'm not going to eat my words when they kick our asses. But
you set yourself up for that.
I am setting myself up, and I've grinned and borne it all season. I am not just a fair weather fan. I'm here to suffer. Hans Wolf is saying the best German food is zum Stammtisch in Glendale, Ridgewood, which I don't know about. I'm not even familiar. I got to check that out. German food. I'm always on the lookout for the good German food. I had like Prime Meats in Carroll Gardens. Wasn't like officially a German restaurant, but they did have sort of a German inspired menu, which was always very, very good. But they are no more. So I will check out Zum Stammtisch.
Check out Zum Stammtisch. Get back to me. I guess the last German place I went to was the Hofbräuhaus in Vegas, which is pretty dang good. And then there's plenty here in LA. I haven't done all of them. But LA, SoCal in general, has these great European like villages. They've got great markets. We talked about last week finding a market just in Glendale, California, my Glendale.
Right.
But anywho, we're 55 minutes in. I think that was a good USA hour. We got Gold Cup. Hopefully we'll pick it up. I still believe our boys can win it. Machin Jungs, Young Rebels on fire. Messi coming into Miami. We've got the Women's World Cup coming up. We've got the FIFA Club World Cup coming up. How do you feel about that real quick, going in a couple of games?
Well, that's next year, right?
That's in 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah,
next year's
going to
be fun.
America,
the Club World Cup will be fun when that comes. Yeah, it's a great time to be a soccer fan in the US of A.
And then the summer after that is the World Cup, baby. Summer of soccer, the first of many.
And then the spring after that is
the Women's World Cup.
No, stadium opening.
Oh, that's right. Hopefully, if they get done in time.
I know. Don't get too excited.
Anyway, fun times. Good luck. Good enough.
Enthusiasm.
Good enough. Tschüss. Bis nächste
Bye.
Woche. Merch.